Let's be honest, have you ever been part of a cloud migration that felt more like a slow motion disaster? Yeah, you're not alone. It's one of the biggest, most painful challenges in tech today. It promises this amazing future, but boy, it often delivers a world of pain. So today, we're going to talk about a smarter way to do this, a strategic approach that can actually help you get it right. So, what's the deal? Why is this so incredibly hard? We've all seen it happen. You've got these meticulous plans, these carefully crafted budgets, and then it just descends into chaos. It's a super common, super frustrating story. But what if the reason it all goes wrong is something way more fundamental than we think? And there it is. This is usually the culprit. We get so laser focused on the what, the technology itself, that we completely forget the why. We see a list of servers, databases, and firewalls, and we make a plan to move those things. But that's like trying to move a car by taking it apart piece by piece. You might get all the parts to the new garage, but you sure don't have a car you can drive. This slide just nails the difference. Over on the left, you've got that classic tech-first mistake. And it seems logical, right? Let's move all the databases at once. But what happens when the applications that need those databases are still back on-prem? You get chaos, total chaos, and broken dependencies. Now look at the right. The strategic approach asks a much better question. What business capability can we move as one complete working thing? It's a subtle shift in thinking, but wow, it makes all the difference. So how do we actually avoid that chaos? Well, it's by thinking in waves. This is a really powerful concept that can take your migration from, a total free-for-all into an orderly, manageable process. So what is a migration wave? It's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a collection of all the interconnected parts, the apps, the data, the dependencies, that all work together to deliver a specific piece of business value. By grouping them like this, we make sure that when a wave moves to the cloud, it actually works on day one. It's a whole, functional piece of your business delivered. I love this analogy because it just clicks. Seriously, imagine you're moving to a new house. You wouldn't just pack up everything made of wood in one go, would you? Of course not. You'd have a chair from the bedroom, the dining room table, and a cutting board from the kitchen, all in the same box. You'd have a pile of wood, but not a single room you could actually use. And this shows you the right way to do it. You move the kitchen as a complete unit. The fridge, the pots, the pans, the dishwasher, everything you need to make a meal. Once the kitchen is set up and working in the new place, then you move on to the next functional room, like the living room. See? Each move delivers immediate value, a working room. This is exactly how we need to think about migration waves. Okay, the moving house analogy is great. It makes sense. But how do we actually apply that to a huge, sprawling portfolio of applications? How do you figure out what goes into your kitchen wave versus your living room wave? Let's get into the practical side of this. So building your waves really comes down to a few key criteria. First up, application affinity. Pretty simple. Which apps are constantly chattering with each other? They're probably good candidates to move together. Then, of course, you have hard dependencies. If app A is totally useless without database B, well, they have to be in the same wave. And you've got to think about business risk and technical complexity. A good strategy is to start with the low-hanging fruit, waves that are lower risk and less complex, so you can build momentum and learn as you go. Let's look at a concrete example. See how the user database and the auth service are bundled into wave one? They've got few dependencies, they're foundational. So once they're moved and totally stable, then we can tackle wave two. That's the high-value stuff, the CRM and billing systems, which, hey, both depend on the services we already moved in wave one. It makes perfect sense. And finally, something lower priority, like the internal wiki, can wait for wave three. It's just a logical, risk-managed way to progress. And that's the whole point right there. The goal is that each and every wave should be its own self-contained victory. You're minimizing the risk of breaking things while you're maximizing the real business value you deliver at each step of the journey. You're not just moving servers, you're enabling new capabilities, one wave at a time. But here's the thing. A brilliant wave plan is not enough. If the rest of the organization isn't in sync with you, you're still heading for trouble. A successful migration is about so much more than just moving apps. It's about making coordinated progress on a bunch of different fronts all at once. This timeline is perfect because it shows how all the pieces have to fit together. As you're executing wave one, your team should also be building out your cloud environment, what we call the landing zone. And at the same time, your people need basic training. Then, as you move on to wave two, with its critical customer data, your landing zone had better have enhanced security, and your team's going to need more specialized skills. You see, everything has to mature in lockstep. And I can't stress this enough, these are not separate tasks you do one after the other. They are parallel work streams that are completely dependent on each other. If your platform build-out falls behind, or your team's training isn't up to snuff, it's going to derail the entire migration. It has to happen together. Okay, and finally, let's talk about the roadmap. The master plan that ties all of this together. But we need to think about it in a totally new way. I want you to just throw out the idea of a static 5-year plan that you print out, laminate, and hang on the wall. That is a total relic of the past. A modern migration roadmap is a living, breathing document. It's way more like a GPS in your car that is constantly recalibrating based on new information, changing business priorities, and all the inevitable roadblocks you're going to hit. So what does a great roadmap look like? Well, first, it's tied directly to business value, not just tech milestones. It's actively governed, meaning people are looking at it and updating it constantly. It actually assumes that priorities and technologies will change. And this is so critical. It's a tool for communication, not just a plan. It's how you keep everyone from your engineers to your CEO informed and pulling in the same direction. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to take back to your team. Look at your migration plan. Is it a static map you printed out last year? Or is it a dynamic GPS that's ready to guide you through all the twists and turns that are definitely coming your way? Because in the world of cloud migration, being ready for tomorrow, well, that's everything.